select or matching the selector app. Is there something wrong with the stream, Goran, or just seeing people walking around in the background? Kids have a snow day today, so a lot of foot traffic through the office this morning. So once we get this set up, we can use render component async. So I did a little bit of this last time. So if we wanted to use Razor components in a Razor Pages app, oh, the stream just died. It didn't die for me or my end, I don't believe. Everything I'm monitoring shows that it's okay. Oh, everybody's saying they lost a stream. I don't know when you guys lost it. It doesn't seem like it was lost for long. Looks like we maybe lost a minute or two. I had comments for 1:25 and is now 1:30, so 5 minutes at the most. Huh. Okay. Well, thank you for making me aware of it, because I wasn't. Our internet probably dropped here. I have Spectrum, and I have nothing good to say about them, so let's just leave it at that. I was talking about jumping over to a new topic. I was saying that the validation stuff is useful. I think from a Telerik perspective, we will just use the implementation given, and we will continue with our components to use the edit context. I believe that's the path we'll take. We have a meeting next week to talk about these things, so we're keeping up with all the Blazor bits. And I was saying let's move on to pre-rendering and see if we can get some pre-rendering to work. I was saying that I think Lauren has a good example out there that we can use next week to do a little more of a deep dive into this. But it looks like we've got some of the building blocks for it. I did a file new project and I created a Razor Pages app, which looks like it might have some errors, at least some warnings. I'm not sure what. Let me see. I may have spun this up during the downtime and it can't find the dependencies because the network was gone. So let's see if let's see what's going on in here. It looks like things are installed, but there's some type of warning. I'm going to jump out to the command line real quick. Again, this is a Razor Pages app I just spun up. I'm just going to see if I could add some Razor components to it. And let's .NET restore, so I can see if there's any restore problems. Restore completed, so, and all the errors went away. So it looks like the app is okay. We'll give it a run. So Razor Pages application. It's a good old ASP.NET Core. Looks like we've got a home page, a privacy page, something spinning away here. Let's double check my system here. It looks like all the looks like everything's up and running. We're still live. Still got folks on the line. I don't know what's going on with the app. It's just spinning away. I haven't made any changes to it. This is just file new project. Looks like it can't load for some reason. So let's go ahead and kill this guy. So Mr. Magoo's been working on this cool thing to do embedding CSS in your components. And apparently all of this pre-rendering stuff threw a major wrench in the system for him. and it looks like you had to resort to using reflection to make it work. Don't use HTTP client or JS runtime in a component on init async with pre-rendering enabled. Good to know. Trying to think, like, those things would be primarily client side, right? I don't know if you'd use HTTP client in a component that is server side. JS runtime, however, that's an interesting one, because I've used things that require no, that would be on after render. Have you tried on after render? That might be where you need to do some JS runtime stuff. On after render's fine. Okay. But with the thing that you were working on, you need the CSS to be available before it renders, because after is going to be too late, right? So if you're injecting CSS classes into your component, you don't want to do it after it's already rendered, because then it's going to look weird. It's either going to do a flash of unstyled stuff, or it's going to not style at all, right? Is that what happened? So let's see. They added endpoint routing. Well, actually, let's go back. Let me see if I can get this to actually just spin up. I don't know why Razor Pages app wouldn't load. It just kind of spun on forever. I got a little bit of the app up, and then it just kept going forever. So loading spinner forever here. Oh, there it goes. I clicked home and it did this. I don't know why Razor Pages is so slow. Why? Wonder if this is an issue or a reboot thing, or... All right, I think we're gonna have to explore this next week. Like I said, there's some good examples out there anyhow. It looks like there might be some hiccups in Razor Pages with the new bits. So I will do some research into GitHub issues and see if there's something going on, or if it's one of those doesn't work on my machine type of scenarios, or what. We'll check out pre-rendering next week. Let's talk about another project. This isn't going to be update related. Could be a Signal R issue. Yeah, it could be a lot of things. Well, I didn't have Signal R going on yet. That wasn't a Razor Components app. That was a Razor Pages app. So Signal R shouldn't be an issue. That was just standard MVC Razor Pages. Let's open up Visual Studio. A couple months ago, I had a series called the Neural November series, and we built a application that used ML.NET. Oh, I like the Moon desktop. Thanks. I saw this on Reddit. This is an actual picture. So this is an actual photograph somebody took with some crazy HD camera. And I thought it was really awesome. And I downloaded it, and it's like, I can't remember how many megs, like 60 megs or something. This image is just nuts. Let me see if I can find that link. I'll throw it in the chat room for you if you want it. But I mean, it's just an insanely cool picture, and it's real. It's not some like rendered thing out of like a 3D engine or something. It's actually a real legit picture. Let's see if I can find this in my notes. I bookmarked it somewhere. Let's see. I don't know how to find archived. Oh, wait, there it is. I put it on a list here. All right, so if you want the moon pic, then go to this link. Mr. Magoo said it's a composite of thousands of images. I wouldn't doubt it. I didn't read through the Reddit thread too hard. I was like, cool, shiny, download. That was my mentality. It was just like, oh, shiny, I gotta have that. Yeah, nearly 50,000 images of the night sky make up an 81 megapixel image of Tuesday's moon. On compressed image in the comments below. They blew out the downloads for that like a million times over. So you have to go through and scan through all of the comments. But people have like rehosted this thing over and over again. So you will be able to find it in here. But you have to really scroll through to find a working link for it. Once you do, you can download it, and it is huge. I don't remember how many megabytes it was. Somebody said 20 megabytes in here, but it is really cool. And I think the guy that compiled the image has a place where you can go order. You can go in and order a print of it, which is something that I think I'd like to do sometime. I'm running out of wall space though. I'll have to put some pics up of some of my decor I've got laying around here. I've got some pretty cool stuff. I'm into like space things. So anyhow, this actually is a wonderful segue. Yeah, cool shiny download. Who asked me about this image initially? Who said they liked the moon image? Oh, it was Mr. Magoo. Really like the moon thing. Give me a sec. Let's see. I'm going to try to do something real fast here. So appreciate that comment on the moon, because this is really going to drive the next subject here. I don't want to cross the stream. Stop. I'm trying to get into my Twitch dashboard for something. Let's see. I'm going to try something here. This requires me to do a whole lot more than I expected. All right, so I'll try to do that later. I got to get my bot fixed. The bot would have helped me. I was going to give some mod privileges and stuff like that out. I can't do it without my bot. So, Mr. Magoo, you have the Jupiter. This is all a good topic, because I'm working on a project that I will be using for conferences. And kind of alluded to this on my Twitter the other day, that I had an epic conference submission. And it's going to be a project that I will be building over the next few weeks to a month. Got a couple .NET folks involved in it. And it's going to piggyback off of something that I built for the show in November. And in November, I did a project where we took ML.NET, which is machine learning for .NET, and built a taxi fare app. And this should just fail miserably because it's on a very old version of Blazor. I think it's going to be like version 6 or something. Let's see. It is a hosted Blazor app. If we look under the dependencies in here, let's see. Now that's the app. This is, now that's the server. This is the app. So I used Razor components, it looks like. I'm almost certain I have this running on the client side though somewhere. Anyhow, I have this .NET app, And this is actually, let me see if it's Razor components or if it was Blazor. If I go into my wroot, that should give me an accurate. Okay, so I was using Razor components. Could have swore that I used client side. Maybe I converted it to client side later. I'm pretty sure I did. I might have to look back at my own show to figure it out. It's been a while. But the gist of it is we have a Blazor app that utilizes a taxi prediction model. So what this does is I have an ml.net app that has several components to it. So if we look under taxi fare training model, I have an app. This all needs to be upgraded. This is something I'm going to be doing over the next few days. I may do streams on them. I may not. I might not be able to do streams on all of it, but I'll definitely do streams on some of this. What this does is it has taxi data that it takes in. Let's see. And it trains a model. So it's going to walk through a training process and go through all of the taxi data that comes out of a CSV file. So this has my taxi training and test data in it. Can open these guys up. It's not going to look like much, but a bunch of numbers. So these are all taxi trips. And it tells how far the taxi trips are and how much they cost. And based on this model, I can feed in some data and get out a prediction on how much a trip would cost. So I've got something a little bit better than Blue Uber or Blueber. So what I'm going to do with this taxi fare thing is I'm going to build an app around it. And instead of being a mundane Earth taxi, it is going to be a space travel taxi service. We'll just extrapolate some of the numbers out. So instead of a distance of just a few miles, we'll just exaggerate these. So on the UI side, we'll say this is going to be tens of thousands of miles, and then we'll do a little data conversion in there somewhere and say that if it's 375,000 miles, we'll just convert that down to 3.75 miles on the training side of, or the machine learning side of it. So we can use the same taxi model, but pretend it's doing space travel instead. And then I'm going to build an app around it called Blazport. Blazport is going to be a Uber space travel app. And we'll have some fun with that. I'm going to try to connect that to some different data services like Cosmos DB. So it'll be Blazport connected to Cosmos DB and Azure ML, or sorry, not Azure ML, ML.net. We'll do some predictions on how much a trip costs. We'll have a little UI to book trips and have some fun with that. I've got some folks helping me with it, co-designing it, like the UX and UI side of it. We'll probably use some Telerik UI components in there and all kinds of fun stuff. So it's something that's going to take a couple weeks to month to evolve into something real. But it's going to start with recreating this training model and just updating this project. This is an old project that is, I really want to find if it is, I know I've created this on the client side. I know this one's not. I just recently made a copy of it. There may be another branch is what it is. I might have done branches. Let's see if there's another branch. Yeah, client side with WebAssembly. There we go. That's what I was looking for. So there is a client side WebAssembly branch. the app started as a server-side thing, and I moved it over to the client side because on the show, I didn't want it to just fall flat and not work at all. So we ended up making it work on the client as well, and I believe it worked just fine. And what it did is it didn't have any forms yet because we didn't have forms and validation back then, but it would take a taxi trip and it would give, we kind of manually just hard-coded some values. So I had a rate code, passenger count, trip time, and distance. We passed those into the machine learning model and got a value back. That was all done with Blazor. Oh, it looks like it, when I opened it up, NuGet went ahead and updated my references. I didn't do this manually, so I don't remember what version it was on. Let's see if my let's see if I've got changes in here. There we go. So this is actually a Blazor 7.0 app that I'll be upgrading. So I'm probably not going to do this on the show. Well, definitely not going to do it today on the show. Might be something I cover in the future, and we'll build some of this on the show together, at least some of it, if not all of it. So it'll start with this taxi trip prediction model. We'll work that into a simple app, and then kind of work on this concept of what Blazport will be. I can probably, that's, gosh, all this stuff updates so quick. I started building a proof of concept in Blazor, and it's in 0.80. So I have to update those bits as well to even show that off, which is really not much yet. It's just kind of a prototype of where you'd select your current location, where you're going to go, and what some of the other features in the app might be. So I've kind of roughed out the edges of what the app is about, so I can start filling it in, getting it up on GitHub to work with some folks at Microsoft to get it all integrated together. So it'll be a cool project that we can look at over the course of the next month. So that's what we'll be doing. I'll still cover some community stuff as well. Maybe we'll throw some extra shows up during the week that aren't on Friday. So keep close watch on Twitter. See if I'm going to be broadcasting other days. I might do that. If I'm working on this anyway, I might just throw the camera on and let you guys follow along and watch things fail miserably, and maybe you guys can help me recover from some of those errors as I fight through this thing. I think it'll be a lot of fun though. So that's what I'm looking forward to. So big fan of space stuff. So thanks for pointing that out, Mr. Magoo. That's an excellent segue into what I'm going to be working on soon. With that said, I'll put show notes up at my website, edcharbonneau.com. I don't have a whole lot to post this week other than just relay those release notes from ASP.NET team about the release of Preview 3 and Blazor 0.9. So I'll put those up there. I won't have anything yet on Blazport. I'm trying to keep, I know I just talked about it on a live stream, but I'm trying to keep it under wraps just a little bit. It has been submitted for some conferences, and I don't really want to announce what all of those things are yet. So we'll, there's not going to be a lot of material posted online yet. It's just going to be something I work on, might live stream about, but don't see a lot of blog posts coming quite yet on it. So we'll just leave it at that. Thanks again, everybody, for joining me on this Friday afternoon. Hope you guys have a good weekend. We'll throw some Blazor power glove emojis out there. Keep working on your Blazor projects, and we'll keep talking about them on the show. It's been a lot of fun. We'll we'll take a look at Lauren's got some good demos and Mr. Magoo's got some good demos. We'll try to grab those next week and talk about those. And again, if you don't follow me on Twitter, I suggest just give me a quick follow, because I do a lot of announcements on there. That's mainly where I do any kind of social media, let people know what's going on. Share a lot of articles there. I know Chris Santi's got a ton of articles that he's working on and publishing through Telerik, which is awesome. I've got articles I'm working on as well that are going up there. So I'll be posting those all on my Twitter, and I'll put them up on the website as well. So check back at those two places for Blazor news. And let people know that the show is out there. If you guys want to help make the show better and get more viewers. I also want to mention before I wrap up, I did a podcast recently. I also have a podcast. It's not producing as many shows as I'd like, but I'm working on that. But there is a show that I did record recently. We did talk about Blazor. This wasn't by my choice. The guest on the show, Jeremy Lickness, chose the topic. He wanted to talk about Blazor. He's a cloud developer advocate for Microsoft, and he's built some really cool things and wants to migrate some of them over to Blazor. One of the things that he built I use, and I think it's a really cool thing. It is called the serverless URL or link shortener. So you can get a short URL for your website, your brand, whatever it is, and then it just uses some Azure functions to create short URLs and track the usage of those URLs. So it's very lightweight. He's got a great blog post on it called Build a Serverless Link Shortener with Analytics Faster Than You Finishing Your Latte, which is an amazing title, but he's got a step-by-step in here of how to build a URL link shortener. And then for those like myself that are extremely lazy, he has source code for everything inside of a script that you can run. And you can run that script and it will build everything out for you and put it in your Azure account. And then you can have your own URL link shortener that's running in your Azure account, which is what I have. I don't use it as much as I should, but I have edweb.me and I can create short links for it. You can see one right there. This was a link to possibly a Blazor article or something. But this all works through Azure, and I can create short URLs for my links. Little slow internet today. Yeah, this is a link to my Blazor article. So that was like edweb.me/F4. So it's a nice little short link I can use in slides for presentations and put on Twitter and stuff like that. And it tracks where they came from. So listen to that show. I posted it in the chat room. I'll post it in my show notes for today's show. Jeremy Lickness, awesome guy working on the CDA team. So you get to listen to his perspective on Blazor and some of the things he's doing. So I'll wrap things up with that. Thanks again, guys. Have a great weekend. Today is International Women's Day. So if you guys have coworkers in the tech industry that are ladies, make sure you tell them to have a good International Women's Day and donate to things like Girls That Code or Women Who Code or View Vixens or any of those great lady dev charities that are out there and organizations, and help more females find the industry and try to help them fix some of the diversity numbers that are out there. So with that said, have a great weekend, folks.